Welcome. This is a reading, the first chapter of my book, The Pause to Relax Ladies for Robust Heart Health, a guidebook for smart heart choices for life. Written by Linda Pancala, that would be me. And I've never read to adults before. I will try to not break bad like I do when I read to children, and I'll do the best I can. I hope you enjoyed it. It's only 15 pages. And the first chapter out of 7 chapters is called The Pace of the Race. Thoroughbred racehorses run fast. They were born and bred to run fast. As humans, we were created to love and to connect. We were made to thrive, not merely survive. It is the basic purpose of the four-legged equine athlete to run the race with speed and stamina and to get to the wire first. In comparison, the two-legged human female athlete in the race of her lifetime may not make it to that finish line. Horses can break down, sometimes mid-race, preventing them from crossing that elusive finish line. So too, my friend, do many women. So many of us are faltering, failing, and missing the mark, and way too early from cardiovascular disease. This reality is heartbreaking, unnecessary, and hard to comprehend. Running for our lives. Why are we running our lives like a 6-furlong sprint race instead of a distance race with an awareness of the appropriate pace of life? As women, are we burning out, fading too early, and missing the mark in our lives? Are we breaking out of the gate of life, making it to Mach 10 overdrive, and then eventually failing and fading? Here we are, finding a profession, raising families, working full-time, caring for our parents. We may end the day wondering, with dismay, why am I so exhausted? Well, the pace and speed of our lives have accelerated enormously these last 4 decades. With that pace comes the eventual need, event, or medical moment that forces us to slow down and pay attention to our health. My medical moment came by way of a few atrial fibrillation or AFib moments that caused me to heighten my awareness of my own pace and lifestyle choices. The purpose of this book is for each woman to pause, to pay attention and relax, to be the healthiest she can be while living. Looking back on my career in horse racing, if I were a jockey on the back of your life, I would gently take the reins, slow the pace down, and take you off the racetrack. I would slowly ride you through the country and over the meadows, going toward the woods. I would guide you from the fields to the farmland, keeping the pace casual and leisurely. You would feel the grass beneath your feet instead of the dirt of the racetrack, and eventually sensing this calm shift. Perhaps we might break into a gallop through the green grass. The sheer joy of experiencing new scenery, relaxing, and even pausing to sip from a stream would allow me to feel your ease. This newfound peace, surrounded by nature, would be akin to coming home to who you were meant to be. The power of the pause. When I compare my previous career, making a living going as fast as I can on a racehorse, to now helping to slow down my clients in my role as a licensed massage therapist, the two may appear to be polar opposites, but my guiding hands and passionate purpose help me to see both careers in parallel. I'm bringing out the best in people through nonverbal touch, communication, and intuition, just like I used to do with a racehorse, crafting my God-given gift of empowering encouragement while saying as little as possible has come to be natural. Using my hands, head, and heart to make these connections has been a blessing for me, and I'm grateful to be alive after my entire career riding racehorses. To have no residual pain or arthritis after breaking my collarbone, wrist 2 times, dislocating my shoulder, and spraining my ankle is truly a gift after all these years. One of my favorite challenges while racing was being on a filly, or a female horse, and trying to be a calm presence for her. Fillies by nature can be quite flighty and quite nervous and tense. An overwhelmed, stressed-out client who travels an hour in traffic to reach their appointment can feel quite similar to that flighty filly. The need to relax and restore does not always come quickly or easily, but to pause, to be present, and begin relaxing offers countless benefits. Webster's definition of pause is to interrupt action or speech briefly with the following as synonyms: stop, cease, halt, discontinue, take a break, rest, wait, hesitate, take a breather, or just take 5. It is within this context that we could take moments to pause during the day to reap immeasurable health benefits for the heart. The healing touch. At the end of the day, it's always my goal and desire to calm and relax my client. The same was true when I was riding a racehorse. On one hand, I'm going 40 miles an hour on a thoroughbred. On the other hand, I'm gently touching tight, overstressed muscles. During the massage, I may need to gently wait through my client's breath to be present, allowing muscular holding patterns to release and let go for improved flexibility and tranquility. Similarly, while on a horse, it is the communication with my hands on the reins, feeling with my legs and knees to determine just how much horse I have. It is at this junction, knowing what I have beneath me, that determines when I ask her for her best and urge her to run faster toward the wire. A race is extremely fast-paced, and I'm making decisions about where to be in the body of the race every single second. A fifth of a second going 40 miles an hour is equal to a length of a horse. So every fraction of a second counts in the body of a race. My goal is to instill in every woman the need to take the reins of your health into your own hands and heart. You are the sole person responsible for you, not your spouse, your friend, or even your doctor. It's you. My desire with both horses and clients is to enable both to go the distance, whether racing on the track or traveling through life. I'm gently enabling each to experience this journey with grace, ease, and harmony. The racetrack taught me countless life lessons, which I carry with me today and share now as a metaphor for life itself, with a relaxed pace the key. Here's a picture I'll share of my racing at winning this race in Laurel many moons ago. A real winner. The greatest racehorse I have ever seen accomplish this challenge was Secretariat. I think that most people in the racehorse business and beyond will agree with this opinion. I began racing at Belmont Park, New York in 1974. It was the year after Secretariat achieved his spectacular career setting records. One record that still stands today is him winning the Triple Crown of the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont, the Triple Crown. He was the first Triple Crown winner in 25 years, and his 31-length win at the Belmont, the final race of the Triple Crown, can give you chills when you watch it on YouTube. In 1977, I began working at Belmont for Secretariat's trainer, Lucian Lauren. Secretariat's groom, Eddie Sweat, and everyone else in the barn knew in their hearts that the story of Big Red, as they called him, would be etched in history. This story was indeed very special. His record time of 2:24 is the fastest 1.5 miles on the dirt and has not been matched by any racehorse to date. Secretariat's wins totaled 21 in his stellar career. After a long life of 27 years, siring many fine racehorses as a stud, Secretariat passed away in Kentucky, where he was born. An autopsy revealed that his heart was bigger than that of most racehorses, and that this was the main reason for his accomplishments. He was able to pump more blood and get more oxygen than most other horses. Secretariat's class, athleticism, and chestnut beauty will be unmatched for decades to come, as his speed and stamina were no match for his rivals. The movie of his name shows a glimpse of his greatness and majesty and is a wonderful family movie. This immortal Secretariat on YouTube is handy to view anytime to take a glimpse into this awe-inspiring thoroughbred's life. self-awareness. The predominant requirement with racehorses and the jockeys that ride them is knowing the speed at which we are traveling. Being aware of how fast we are moving down to a fifth of a second is the hallmark of a great rider. My job was to conserve and save my mount's energy for the last quarter mile down the stretch. If we use all our energy at the beginning of the race, whether we're running a sprint or distance race, there's no way we can make it to the wire first. Contrasting this with our human lives, I believe that life is a distance race with the goal to finish strong. For us to do this, we too must be aware of the speed in which we are racing through life. Women must do all we can do to increase our stamina and to be sensitive to the pace of our lives and to choose joyfulness on the journey. Like Secretariat, we too can be a winner on the race called life. To accomplish this with vigor requires us to be making continual, proactive choices to impact our wellness and health positively. This decision-making process is the foundation of my speaking and writing. This decision-making process can help shift you and to make you allow time to live in joy, not merely survive, but to thrive. It was my experience with atrial fibrillation that was the defining moment for me. It sure did not slow me down. The speed of life. The speed factor in many women's lives has increased exponentially as demands and work-life balance finds its rhythm. In America and throughout this world, we are juggling so much and wearing so many hats. The tempo is a relentless go, 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 like the Energizer Bunny. We must keep going no matter what. I've been guilty of this most of my life. Perhaps a career in racing influenced me, but I was always striving for optimal results. I'm happy to tell you now that I've crossed that bridge of awareness, finally. Part of the process for me was paying attention to my driving. My speeding tickets accumulated into a wake-up call. The more recent method of delivering my ticket in the mail became an irritating reminder. This reality check has helped to slow me down. I've learned how to avoid having that police officer at my window asking for my license and registration too. Learning the hard way. Giving me a pause moment is a surefire way to stop my forward momentum at any given time. I move at a very fast pace and have for years. My memo from God will always be slow down. My experience with atrial fibrillation, or AFib, years ago allowed for an introspective examination of my pace. Did I look into the lens of my health choices? Did I take an honest look at my level of stress? Yes to both. They weren't the best, as I've come to learn. The writer and researcher in me dug deep to help me become more aware of the pace and the speed of my life. I learned about the effects of a relentless pace on my heart, along with my health. What we can learn from a turtle. Speaking of speed, I once saw a very wise herbalist from Oregon named Donnie Yance speak locally here in Maryland, and he asked all 50 of us in the room, what animal is the oldest living creature in the world? We all were to give answers. We offered many different animal guesses, but we were all surprised when he gave us the true answer, the turtle. And here's a turtle from Maui that my friend Carol took when we went to Hawaii. They're called honas. Do you know why? Donnie Yance said. It is because they are never in a rush to go anywhere. They never move fast or hurry around on their short legs. Their leisurely pace enables them to live much longer than any other creature in the world. Hearing this as a native New Yorker spoke volumes to me as I witnessed such a crazy fast pace for years growing up there. In the midst of writing this book, I traveled to Hawaii with my husband and friends to celebrate birthdays and to see my cousins on the island of Maui and Kauai. On Maui, we saw some honos, or turtles, on the beach. What struck me was how they work so hard getting to the sandy shore. It's such a small distance. Their short legs push the sand to advance onto the beach. The turtles fan out their front legs to dig deep into the sand. Once they reach their desired spot, they anchor deep down within this calm space. After all this incredible effort, they are simply resting with their heads tucked inside their shells. What a concept, I thought. Work hard, then rest. Animals, when chased by a predator for their lives, pause to stop. They instinctively and naturally find a quiet den or cave in which to recover safely. They take time to rest and reset and find balance once again. Run hard, rest. This intuitive process intrigues me. It's amazing how this cycle of run, reset exists in nature. Could we possibly embrace this as women after a stress-filled time? No one teaches these animals self-care. They innately know. The stress of painful experiences. Seeing what stressful events have done to my clients over 3 decades around the table, from the vantage point of working on them, has been quite educational. Grief, divorce, pain, loss, marital difficulties, drama, family drama, traumatic circumstances, car accidents, and abuse all have physical manifestations and can leave battle wounds and scars. What if we had the ability and resources to make a conscious effort to be kinder to ourselves following a difficult time or trauma? Would our central nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, and adrenals have a sweet break from the chemical onslaught of cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones? Could we once again bring a sense of peace and calming to the body, enabling it to rest and restore? Well, I believe we can. As women, we can accomplish this complex mission at hand, neutralizing stress and finding peace within ourselves. Curiosity took over. Years ago, when it was in the fall, when I was experiencing an irregular heartbeat at random times, I found out my blood work, chest x-rays, exercise stress test from the electrocardiogram on a treadmill with ultrasound to follow up. Taken of my heart, all of those tests were just fine and normal. There was no apparent cause of the atrial fibrillation, so the doctor said. I had and still have a wonderful cardiologist, a holistic endocrinologist, a biological dentist, a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, along with my primary care physician. My suspicion, though, about my first atrial fibrillation episode was that it could have been a tooth that was infected, unknown to me at the time. One dentist said the infection could have been systemic and caused the electrical component, the sinus rhythm within my heart, to go off beat. My regular dentist, after getting an emergency pulpectomy in New York on that tooth to relieve infection, subsequently wanted eventually to do a root canal. The tooth was already cracked, and my gut instinct was, take it out. Additional drilling and releasing any remnants of infection into my body did not appeal to me nor make any sense. Although medical professionals did not see or connect the infected tooth with my heart, I was still trying to figure it out. And more than ever, I needed to know. These episodes were also in the fall and the winter seasons, when my blood might have been a little thicker and not quite as hydrated. Medical research is now confirming the connection between travel, caffeine, alcohol consumption, stress, exercise, and atrial fibrillation. Could dehydration play a part of the problem? Could staying hydrated during these activities improve the odds of not experiencing that irregular heartbeat? Coping with atrial fibrillation. The triggers of AFib are still under investigation, but stress is likely to play a role for some people. Those who work in the ER call it holiday heart, as many are admitted to the hospital during the holidays, when increased levels of alcohol and possible dehydration may be causative factors. Contemporary research suggests that approximately 54% of patients with intermittent atrial fibrillation cite psychological stress as the common trigger. Nonetheless, AFib is known to be a complex medical problem. Stress likely works together with many other medical factors to trigger AFib. Because many different types of stress are common aspects of life, Patients with AFib benefit from being aware of stress and taking steps to cope with it. Metabolic syndrome researchers are now finding a correlation between having diabetes, hypertension, or obesity and higher incidences of AFib. Strategies for AFib patients to embrace in order to reduce the effects of stress in their lives. Be mindful of your condition. Understanding your condition allows you to communicate your needs to family, friends, and healthcare providers. Being smart about your circumstance is wise. And should you not have the answers, seek help from your medical doctor. Pay attention to your emotional health. Many atrial fibrillation patients believe that they are the only ones who are experiencing worry or anticipatory fear. However, most patients experience at least some periods of fear and depression. Talking with a competent professional about your cares and concerns is part of comprehensive health care. Plan some relaxation. Feelings of depressed moods or anxiety can lead to a feeling of a lack of control over one's life. To break the cycle, you will likely need a deliberate plan to schedule pleasant events. Make and follow a plan, even though you may not want to. It makes sense that when you start doing pleasant, fun, or rewarding activities, once again, you might start feeling a little bit more like your usual self. So, after taking the results of my stress test and my blood work, the curious writer in me went on a search for the medical causes of heart issues like mine. What I found was eye-popping, to say the least. I discovered that heart disease is the #1 killer of women now, more than all the types of cancers combined, and it was cause for further digging. That's the end of that chapter. And at the end of each chapter, I like to share 3 quotes because I just so love quotes. So here's the last 3 quotes from this chapter. Honesty is the first chapter in the book of wisdom. That's from Benjamin Franklin. Today you are you. This is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. That would be the famous Dr. Seuss. Then the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And that's Helen Keller. And so from the back of the book, whenever I finish speaking, I always end with this. I have my favorite quote in the back of my book right here from Ferdinand Porsche. And it goes like this. Life is a race marked by a start and a finish. It's what we learn during the race and how we apply it that determines whether our participation has had particular value. Then, if we learn from each success and each failure and improve ourselves through this process, then at the end, we will have fulfilled our potential and performed well. So thank you so much for joining me for my first chapter of my book. You can find the Pause to Relax Ladies for Robust Heart Health in all bookstores, on Apple, on Kindle, on Amazon as well. And you're welcome to contact me if you have any desire for me to speak to a group or to your organization, to do mindful meditation massage, or to really help navigate all of this stress during this pandemic. I'm here for you. You're welcome to visit my website. It's lindapenkala.com, PENKALA.com. And you're welcome to see and sign up for my newsletter in my oily.life/wealth of health website. And you can learn a lot more about essential oils as well. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate that. Now go buy the book. Thanks.